Yo, parish orphans and retrogrades. On today's episode of Rules for Retrogrades, a very special guest. I've been meaning to connect with this special guest for some time. I know I've been saying that a lot lately, but it's true. We've been getting good gets who I've been meaning to have on, and they're all coming on in September of AD 2024. The guest is Dr. Robert Sungenis, a Catholic theologian and a filmmaker, film producer. Today, he appears on Rules for Retrogrades to discuss the particulars of a phenomenal film that is called The Principle, and it involves the question, is Earth at the center of the universe? Dr. Sungenis, welcome to Rules for Retrogrades. It's an honor to have you. How are you?
Timothy, it's an honor to be here on your program. I've heard a lot about you. That's what happens these days in the internet world. We hear about each other, but we never meet each other. And I'm glad I got the opportunity to meet you here. And I admire your work and your verve, your, I don't know, chutzpah.
Yeah, thanks. I've admired yours for a long time. You sent me an email around the time I was moving out of crazy California here to Mississippi, supporting some, of the many dust-ups I'd had. Me in one of the many dust-ups I'd had, and that was around the time I'd just first seen The Principle. So I thank you for your support, and of course, you've one of the few men in really centuries-old recent history to correct a catechism. So it's
Yeah.
quite an honor to have you.
It took him 10 years to put the correction in there, but we finally got it done.
Was that from the 94 to the 97, or how did that work? That's not related.
No, that was from the 2006 USCCB Adult Catechism.
That's what it is. So you didn't correct a universal catechism, just a crazy USCCB. It's still props.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but that's my next venture.
Yeah. Oh, I have a lot. I seriously do have one, a paper I wrote on, the not so much the Francis correction to the death penalty, because that's just plainly wrong, but the 97 JP2 update to the death penalty. So, but that's a topic for another time. This is a dense enough topic, and you're the guy to talk to about it. I am a man from a science family, from a geosciences family background. Brother's a PhD from the School of Mines. My dad, his brother, geologist. My dad's a practicing geologist. I think my uncle was a geology undergrad major. And the point is, you offer a really, really compelling data-based case for a geocentric view of the universe. I never know how ambitious one could go, geocentric model of the solar system, but it's all based on the 2009 Planck Space Observatory. Basically, the results came back, for folks out there who don't know, the results came back in 2013 from the Planck Space Observatory that confirmed the cosmic microwave background. I'll let you say what that is. And its so-called axis of evil, which is a dope name. I love that. And at least preliminarily, it seemed to confirm geocentrism and to show that establishment cosmology over the last 100 years is coping by not following the, Occam's razor of cosmology, which would be a geocentric model of the universe. I'll let you take it from there, but start out with, at the beginning, a very good place to start, and explain it to the people out there.
It starts actually back in 1963 with two scientists, Wilson and Penzias. And they had this radar telescope, radio telescope that they pointed up in the sky, and they were getting all kinds of frequencies and things like that. And they eliminated one by one the frequencies or the wavelengths that were hitting this radar uh, dish. And there was one they couldn't get rid of. And it was very low frequency. And they was wondering, where is it coming from? And they thought it was bird dew actually on their dish. So they went out and scraped the bird dew off, and it still was there. So they did some more tests, and they said this is a ubiquitous microwave frequency that is hitting our radar telescope, and it's coming from everywhere in the universe. Whatever direction we point this, it's coming. And so that's why I say ubiquitous. It was right away understood that this is coming from everywhere in the universe, unlike any other kind of radiation we've ever received. Usually it's pinpointed, like sun rays are pinpointed. This was everywhere. So now, if you look at your old television screen, and you see the snow on the screen, if you turn your TV on and you don't get a channel, 1% of that would be the cosmic microwave radiation, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. Okay.
Right.
So if it's coming from everywhere in the universe, everybody figured, oh, wow, that must be the remnants of the Big Bang, you see, because the Big Bang, as it's purported to be, exploded at 3,000 degrees Kelvin. That's pretty hot. And then
Right.
it took 13.8 billion years to cool down to what it presently is. The cosmic microwave radiation is presently at 2.75 degrees Kelvin. And for later part of the story, I hope I have enough time to explain it all, because you have to explain it right in order for people to understand. That 2.75, although it's very low and it's very near absolute zero, okay, the
Mhm.
lowest temperature you can get, there's a slight fluctuation in that 2.75. It's either 2.752 or 2.759. And that difference between the 9 and the 2 makes all the difference. That's why we're talking here about the cosmic microwave radiation, just for that minuscule difference. So as the story goes, Penzias and Wilson won the Nobel Prize for finding this microwave radiation, because lo and behold, it supported the Big Bang Theory. Man, we needed something like that. So in 1978, they sent up some balloons high up into the atmosphere to measure again this microwave radiation. And they found fluctuations, the fluctuations I just described to you, between 009 and 002. And they said, where is this coming from? Why is this microwave thing fluctuating? So about 12 years after that, they sent up a probe called the Kobe probe, about 500 miles above the surface of the Earth, to do some more studies on this cosmic microwave radiation. And they found the same fluctuations. This
Was
was
this
in
in 1990, 91?
1990,
Right.
yeah, actually
Okay. Yeah.
89, and then
Okay.
90, they got the results.
Gotcha.
So they knew something was puzzling up there. They just couldn't answer it. So they built this new machine called the Wilkinson Microwave Anisotropy Probe, and
Mhm.
WMAT for short, and sent it up in 2001. And they even got clearer picture that there were fluctuations up there in this microwave radiation. So everybody's scratching their head and they're wondering, oh my gosh, what's the deal here? But not only did the WMAP give them these fluctuations, the fluctuations could now be charted. They could be charted right through the universe from one end to the other. And charted means that you can put them on a graph, like dots on a graph, and then draw a line through it, right? So I'm sure you've done that in school with geometry or trigonometry or whatever. You graph something and then you draw a line through the median of those points. Well, that's pretty much what they did, is they got all the fluctuation points, and then they could draw a line right through it. and the line they drew through it, guess what? It followed the path of the Earth's ecliptic. Now, if you don't know what ecliptic is, it's the 23.5-degree tilt
Right.
that we makes our seasons. Okay. Now that's a very specific number, 23.5 degrees. Okay. It's not 23.7. It's not 23.2. It's 23.5. It might be between 4 and 5, but it's never changed. It's always the same. And this line that they graphed goes right through parallel with that ecliptic plane. That's phenomenal because what that means is the universe knows we're here and it's charted everything around us based on the fact that there is a 23.5-degree angle between the Earth and the sun. And, compared to what the Big Bangers think the size of the universe is, 93 billion light years in diameter, that's like saying a grain of sand is what is the pivot point for our solar system. A grain of sand, okay,
right.
or a pea is the pivot point for our solar system. Now, what's this little p doing as the pivot point for the solar system? And analogously, it's what's this line doing as the pivot point for the rest of the universe is what we're really saying. So, I mean, this is something big, and they called it, as you said, the axis of evil. And at that time, Bush and company were going into places, Afghanistan or whatever, Iran, Iraq, and he coined this term, the axis of evil, to what was it, Korea, Iraq, Iran, I forget the other component of that was, but so a couple of scientists from England picked up on that, and one of them was a woman. She's very Kate, what's her name? Kate Land, and she coined the term. This is the axis of evil. So this just begs the question, why is it called evil? Well, because it goes against everything that modern cosmology believes. The Big Bang theory, the fact that the Earth is out there in the remote recesses of space all by itself, no signposts saying here, you are here. It's all gone because this puts the Earth in the center of the universe and the pivot point for everything we see out there. Okay. So naturally, a Copernican, a heliocentrist, a Big Banger, even an evolutionist is going to say, that's evil. We don't like that. Let's get rid of it. And so the first complaint was, oh, this is just foreground contamination of the instruments. They're not able to sort out all the frequencies there. And, they all had trouble with that. And so we really can't depend on this. And so everybody said, okay, maybe that's true. So we got the money. Let's go build another one, send it up and make it even more sensitive and see if it finds the same thing. And if it finds the same thing, the odds are that it's real because now we've already had two. We've had Kobe, and then we've had WMAP, and now another one, and they called that the Planck probe. And they sent that up in 2009, came back with the data 2013, and guess what? Not only did it confirm the data, it made it even crystal clear because the instrumentation that they used was much more precise. So whereas you might see a fuzzy image with the WMAP, you see a real clear one with the Planck probe. And it showed the same line going through the ecliptic, pointing at the same direction as everything else that they found. And so it's not I who am saying that this puts the Earth in the center. They were saying it. One of the famous guys who said that was Lawrence Krauss, who was in our movie, The Principal. He said, if it's correct, if all the instrumentation is correct, this puts us in the center of the universe. Otherwise, we have to revamp all our physics.
Right. So Lawrence Krauss says that. So does Max Tegmark. He's the guy in your film that says he was shaving or brushing his teeth or something when the 2013 Planck data dropped, and he just did a double take. And so did Michio Kaku. right? He said, I mean, they all say this. It's relatively simple construction of the data.
Well,
This
I don't want to put words in their mouth, and I don't want you to either. Max Tegmark did not say that, neither did Michio Kaku. Lawrence Krauss said that. So, and we posed this question to Max Tegmark.
Mhm.
We said, Lawrence Krauss says that this puts the Earth in the center. And Max Tegmark came back and said, well, it could, okay, but I don't believe that that's the case because he's a Big Bang Copernican, okay? He's not ready to admit it. Neither did Lawrence Krauss. He just said, this data puts us in the center. Otherwise, we have to revamp our physics. Now, he may revamp his physics for all we know, okay? But that was enough for us to say, okay, we're going to make a movie about this. So Max then saw the Planck data and he said, ooh, boy, this is not contamination. This is real stuff, and we have to grapple with it. And the closest he came to saying the Earth was in the center was, I think that there's a lot of purpose in life now. Something like that. Okay.
Right.
And Michio Kaku, on the other hand, he he wasn't going to go there, but my guess is from what I know about him, and we learned a lot about him, is he's open to a lot of things. He could go there.